And we're live. Bear with us as we check to make sure that we don't have that little thing going on. How we looking? I don't think we hear it. Ray has confirmed in the background that we should not have the issue. All right, the show presses on. Welcome in everybody to an immaculate week. I hope everybody had an immaculate week. I will explain, and I'm sure most of you are already well aware of why I might actually be using the word immaculate at such a high rate of speed throughout our thing we call a podcast here. Let me exit out of this thing real quick, like try to minimize it or something, because I'm trying to get out of here. And away we go. I have written down some things, some articles I would like to talk about, some topics of discussion. But first of all, let's get into it. Week 10 has come and gone. We are down by one, boys and girls, boys and girl. And yes, we survived our first week with only now two moves to pick up. And this morning has already seen a few teams already make those to and through moves. And it's only Monday. But now you guys know my pain. Speaking of pain, before we get into that, let us see the issues that have come up recently. You know what? Yahoo, this is awesome. I think this is the first time I've actually ever used this, but let's look at it. Injuries. Uh, okay, it's not really pulling up the way that I thought it would. When I clicked on injury report, not really seeing the new injury report. I would have liked to have seen the new players that are injured. Let's go all the way to the bottom, shall we? Are we there yet? Mitch Garver? Nope, nope, nopity, nope. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Here we got some injuries to talk about. Players just dropping like flies. Uh, Bryce Harper has been day to day pretty much all season with like shoulder issue, his hand. Let's look at it. Third base is a depleted position in terms of depth. And if you got a third baseman like Jose Ramirez or Manny Machado, things were looking pretty bright in that department. And the other day, Manny Machado, for those of you that watched that video, I'm surprised he's not in a wheelchair and calling it quits for good. I watched that. I don't understand why. And this is another riddle that somebody can try to solve for me. Why is it that home plate is level with the playing field and the other three bases are raised off the ground? Can you explain it to me? Can anyone? What is the purpose for it? I get that there's a defensive type of, so to speak, there's an awareness by the umpires that the defense, the first, second, shortstop, whoever's covering the bag, if their foot is tapped up against the side of it, that clearly is touching it. So, if for whatever reason, maybe a pitcher is on the mound and he goes to try to pick off a player, it's clear that that person is touching it. It allows for a defense, obviously, for those basemen to stretch even that further of a distance. If only the centimeters they're able to stretch out a little bit. But I just don't understand why it is, whatever it is. Maybe it's the material, but we have seen this all too many times. Ball in the infield, runner heads to first, and as they are looking to extend themselves and they plant that foot, whatever material that is, they slip right off of it. They have no grip, they slip off of it, and the end result is never a good thing. Acuna, I believe, had an issue like this where he hyperextended himself. Manny Machado, that video, you can clearly tell that plant foot does not go the way that he needs it to go, and it folds, I believe it was inward. Hell, either way, not supposed to fold that ankle that way, but my goodness. So if anybody can explain to me in the chat, drop a little blog story, whatever, explaining why it is that the bases are elevated rather than being flat with the playing field. Again, I understand it, but there's also ways that an umpire can position himself to see that placement of the foot to the side of the bag. And if it gets dirty, well, sweep it off. That's what the brooms are for. They do it at fucking home plate. They need to be doing it more at home plate because they can't fucking call balls and strikes, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day, or we've already had it. Moving on, the injuries. Mookie Betts went down. Manny Machado went down. I just get an alert about 2 hours ago that Jeff McNeil, he pulled his hamstring. Yay, this is some fun stuff. The injuries. You don't have to round the base to go to another. I don't understand that, Chris. You don't have to round that base to go to another. So you're not going round like the home plate. You don't have to round it. I'm waiting for you to type. This is live, baby. And he is typing to me. You only slide into home plate. Really? You don't slide into second when you're running from first to second? You don't do that? You don't slide into first or people dive for first base. The base running is different than other bases. Sure, but your slide analogy is not really good because if a runner's on first and there's an infield hit and the runner's going to second and he slides, hello, he tucks one leg under. It's typical. I didn't say you didn't slide into other bases. This is great. I love it. I'm glad that you're watching. Is there not a chat thing in the YouTube live stream? I finally caught a live stream. All right. Yes, you did. You can chat with me on that, bro. Why are you chatting with me in the maybe because that's where I'm at. I'm on the thing, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, sure. Uh, I know, but anyways, that to me is just I don't know. That's just not a good enough reason for them to be elevated like that. Maybe they should lower just first base for the reason and examples that I just gave. Lower that one. I mean, yeah, it's going to look tacky or whatever, but who the hell cares? A base runner gets safe at first, and doesn't throw out their damn ankle for a season ending injury or something. I'll take that any day of the week. Yay, that's not a bad idea. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Hot damn, look at that. Cause first is special too. Damn it, man. I'm hitting on all cylinders today. I'm ready to, man, who knows how long this podcast is going to go. If I just keep getting a thumbs up from old Walker, can you run through first into right field? Yes, you can run through first. So check it out. The rest of the you can't outrun them, as long as you don't turn. All right, I like it. Let's talk about it. We should put in a little thing with the person that's in charge. Let him know how we feel. But yeah, some injuries, man, and therefore I go back to this whole two and through the week. Should we have maybe started with two and then been given a third? Maybe that could have been talked about. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, I know that if it comes back next season, you won't be seeing this black ass. I'll be here. Whatever. Fuck y'all. I don't care. All right. So, you know what? I wrote down some stuff today. I wrote down some stuff, but the first base has the most force outs more than any other base where touching the base is enough. Home base has the least force outs. Okay. Now I'm about to get real technical for you. What if there's somebody? What if there, what, hear me out. What if there is somebody that has a control that for first base, if there's not a runner on first base, pushes a button to beep, lower it. If there's an automatic control, if anybody's ever been to a softball, baseball field, whatever, you see these rods that hold the bases in place. They're like, yay, like this tall, this in length. Like I'm not really showing, but they're about this long. And then you insert them into ground. What if somebody designs something that places something in there that lowers and raises the bases for the base runner to run to first if there's nobody on first? I like it. What if your mama home base has the least force outs? Reading all these stats. I got to move forward, sir. You keep hitting up the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. This podcast is also brought to you by Yingling Light Lager, 3.2 grams of carbs, 99 calories, and 4% alcoholic volume. hmm Moving forward, here we go. So I started thinking, and here's what got me thinking. Last night, I saw a name come across I don't know, the bottom line or whatever it was that I was bugging out on the phone watching baseball. And I saw this name and I was like, oh my God, Josh would love to have him back. Edwin Encarnacion. Now, there is a new baseball player with the same last name, but no, it is no relation or is not the son of, I don't know if they're related to Edwin Encarnacion. And I started thinking, okay, last week there was a discussion on the radio on 1010XL, I believe it was, and they were talking about Paul Goldschmidt. Yes, the new number one baseball player as of today in fantasy baseball is one Paul Goldschmidt, and maybe I brung this up too, but they were talking about the home runs that Paul Goldschmidt may or may not hit in his lifetime. And they were saying, but look how old he is. I didn't actually research how old Paul Goldschmidt is. But I then chimed in on their text line and said, hold on a minute. The universal DH may extend Paul Goldschmidt's career. And then I started thinking, man, what if it was around for some of these players? And I'm going to name off some few. And then I would like, Chris, I see you over there, but in the league chat or whatever, after this video has been submitted and is broadcasted to the viewing audience, I would like some more names to jog my memory of some fun baseball players that, man, if the universal DH was around before they retired, would they still be mashing? Because I believe Nelson Cruz is 42 years old. And that dude, even though he's not been as productive as such, he still hits home runs. And at one point, I believe he broke into the top, like I believe he was like a double digit. I don't have my phone, it's charging, but I believe he was a double digit ranked player in fantasy not too long ago. I don't know what he's ranked right now. Chris, if you have a moment and want to look it up, let me know. I'd be curious to know. But anyways, these are some players that I thought about for of a variety of reasons, not just so much power, but on base percentage or batting average. So I'm going to throw out some names and let's see if you guys can remember just how what a joy. Who am I looking up? Nelson Cruz, Mr. Walker. Nelson Cruz. What is he currently ranked right now in the Yahoo rankings? If you wouldn't mind, let me know. While he's looking that up, this is really cool, by the way, Chris. It's super exciting that you're actually here with me watching this. So Edwin Encarnacion was the first one. This dude mashed. And one of my favorite things about watching Edwin Encarnacion was when he hit a home run. I don't know what it was, but he always cocked his elbow up. Like he always brung his arm up and he'd run the bases like this. And then I don't know if it was for the third base coach for when he rounded third, he's 142 on the season. He has obviously dropped because he hasn't been really, of notable uh, player here in the last couple of days, maybe even a week or so. But he did, I believe, break into the top 100, if I'm not, if I'm correct, and I'm pretty sure I am because he was on my radar. So, anyways, he's not on my radar right now because it's just Edwin Encarnacion nickname was E5, partially because his initial and number combined, but also an error by the third baseman is labeled E5, famous for them. Yes, he was. But again, for the topic of conversation, that was a fun fact, by the way. I thank you very much. That fun fact is brought to you by Aha Water. Aha. Whenever you're thirsty, grab a aha. Yes, I have two drinks in front of me because I also have to stay hydrated while I'm drinking. That's also a good thing to know. Anyways, Edwin Encarnacion. I love the fact that when he hit a home run, he's running the bases, he's raising his arm. I would love to know the purpose and reason behind it. But why do people wear pearl necklaces and win World Series championships and have that pearl in the baseball ring? Nobody knows. Moving on, Mark Teixeira. Mark Teixeira was a fun guy to watch the Bronx Bombers just hit and play. And I would just always remember first baseman. There it is. Mark Teixeira. He was a source of power. Would he still be playing? Now, I understand too that he plays in the league that has the DH already implemented, but the universal DH was for obviously everybody. There could have been a team out there that said, hey, come and mash here. And they're an American League team and not National League. Or wait, National League team and not American League team. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So, Mark Teixeira. How about this guy? And this was one of my favorite guys to roster a couple of years back. Michael Kadire. Now, that dude had a batting average that was just, and he had a great swing. I just loved him. I think he played for the Rockies, if I'm not mistaken, and he might have finished his career out with the Twins. Anybody want to help me out with that? Obviously, I did not, but I'm pretty sure I remember seeing him in those. So, yeah, Michael Kadire. What about this one? Michael Young. Love that dude. You're hunting for bat only players that weren't as good as the players that could play DH for an AL team. For bat only players that weren't as good as players. Okay, well, my bad. I was just saying, what if they were still around playing DH? Jake, listen, I'm just saying I miss these players. Kadire was a utility player, so I don't expect the universal DH to help him. You're just poo-pooing my conversation here, buddy. I don't appreciate it. Okay? I'm saying he hit the ball well, and he could have played longer into his 40s or something. And I looked Michael Young up today. That bitch is 45. Wow. Remember this guy? Raul Ibanez. Now, that dude still mashed, and I think he finished out his career with Seattle, maybe? I don't know. What about Daniel Murphy? Jacksonville's own Daniel Murphy. He hit for a nice little batting average, and he was a positional player. I would have liked to have seen him stick around. What about, and again, he bounced around, but Joey Bats, Jose Bautista. He was a Brave for a minute. Any other names? Walker, why don't you tell me the names that actually would be associated with what you think that I was actually talking about? That would be interesting. So drop me some names, sir, Mr. Educated. So, anyways, who are some names of some people that you would like to see stick around and continue to mash? One of which, to me, is Goldie. Hey, Goldie, stick around. Bautista had a great arm and played right field, and he would have been a great DH. I would like to see Paul Goldschmidt stick around and just mash balls. I don't need to see him play anymore at first base. Just come up, hit the ball, have a seat on the bench. I like that. Darren Ruff is totally benefiting from universal DH. Agreed. What about Aaron Judge? Would he benefit? Because there's always been that question. They were talking about him today, or they were talking about the top 5 home run hitters today on the radio. Aaron Judge is obviously number one. I won't mention who's number two, but number one, Aaron Judge. But there's always that, that, that injury. He could get injured. But universal DH, the position of the DH. Now they could probably, I think he's been playing that, right? Has he been playing universal DH or has Stanton been there? Bryce Harper, very good. That's my very next name, Bryce Harper. I would love to see Bryce Harper stick around at Universal DH. What about Anthony Rizzo? Homeboy's been mashing in New York. What about Byron Buxton? I think they finally realized over there in Minnesota, quit putting Mr. Fragile in the fucking anywhere other than just at home plate to hit the ball. Stop putting him out in the outfield. The boy likes to just run into walls. You probably have to have a leash on him when you're walking him out in, like, I don't know, traffic or across the street, because you don't want him just, hey, look, a semi, let me run into it. Like, Jesus, come on, Byron. The game is better with you around, but could you, I don't know, judge the distance between you and a 60-foot wall? Obviously, it's not 60 feet, but you get what I'm saying. Pete Alonso. How about Pete? Stick around, Peter. Just ride that universal DH. You don't need to play first anymore. Just hit that DH spot. And obviously, Giancarlo Stanton. He's probably going to find himself on another roster, and he might be a good fit for a universal DH spot somewhere else. I mean, they brought him into New York to do whatever, and he's done whatever, you know? But anyways, what are some other names of some players that you guys would like to see? I'm curious. I'm interested, because my thing is, with that position, man, we might see some people stick around into their 40s, like old Nelson Cruz might stick around. I don't know. Goldie could probably get into it, man. Huh? All right, moving forward. So, this podcast today was called An Immaculate Week. And so, let me give you a little. I'm sitting over here on this couch on Wednesday after work, sitting there, and I pull up the videos on MLB TV to just look at the stats or whatever from the Houston Astros versus the Texas Rangers game. And the very first two videos are an immaculate inning by by Luis Garcia, and then another immaculate inning by Maton. And at first I'm like, did somebody just run out of synonyms? Did they just not know what the fuck to write? Like, hey, that was immaculate. And then, hey, that was immaculate too. That was beautiful. So I'm like, what the hell is an immaculate inning? So I went to the Google, and sure as shit, it's an actual fucking thing. Underdogs won except Josh against me. I'd call that immaculate. All underdogs won. Underdogs, excuse me. That's funny right there. That is immaculate. We'll get into that in a minute there, Mr. Walker. Don't you blow your load before I get there, sir. Anywho, so I had to look up what an immaculate inning was, because I myself have never heard of it described as such, other than, hey, man, that was an immaculate inning. That was pretty good. He did a good job pitching. No, this is actually a baseball terminology. And then I had to look it up. Did you guys know that in the history of MLB, there have only been 106, now 108 immaculate innings pitched? That's throughout the entire course of baseball. So, for those of you that need clarification and you haven't Googled it yet, an immaculate inning is where you get 3 strikeouts on 9 pitches. That's it. 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. You don't get any other at bats, got 3 players. Now, the other fun fact about this whole immaculate is in the second inning, Luis Garcia faced Nate Lowe, Ezekiel Durham, and Brad Miller. struck them all out on 9 pitches. Got 3 strikeouts, immaculate. Those motherfuckers come back around in the 7th inning. Same order, Nate Lowe, Ezekiel Duran, and Brad Miller. All of them strike out, same way that they did back in the 2nd. Now that has never happened. One of my favorite things is witnessing history. That is history, sirs. That may never happen again. So when we're old and grayer than we are now, we're going to look back on 2022, June 15th. This is going to be a stat that comes up on the radio one day. On this date, in June 15th, or on June 15th, 2022, the Astros pitched not one, but 2 immaculate innings, and it happened against the same 3 batters. That to me is pretty damn cool. We witness history there, people. Major League Baseball history. We're a part of it in some form or fashion. And then I said, goodbye, Luis Garcia, and traded his fucking ass. Boom! There he goes. Luis Garcia. I don't even know if anybody even knows the Matson relief pitcher. So we talked about the DH. We talked about the injury bug. We've talked about an immaculate inning. And let's get into the actual reason we're all here. And that's breakdown week 9, shalln't we? Let us get back to that page. Dear baseball gods, all my long-term IL players are going on rehab and may be back this week. Please let them actually stay healthy. Thank you. One Jason. That's pretty. Yep. Snoop Dogg. Snoop a loop. Snoop. All right. Week 10 again is in the BOOKS books. Yippee. Let's talk about it, shalln't we? So the biggest margin of victory we will talk about in a minute. Rally Monkeys versus Blue Balls of Destiny. This is what we can, under the radar, dub Rivalry Week, but we just did not call it Rivalry Week. But coming back around, what is this? Uncle versus nephew, right? Uncle versus nephew, right? Rally Monkeys versus Josh. I always get this wrong. Is he typing it in the thing to correct me and say, nope, he just said, yeah, correct. Boom, boom. Thank you, sir. Uncle versus nephew, and Uncle taught the young man a lesson. And tell me again, too, is this the second time that you taught him a lesson, beginning of the season? Yes, I do remember that as well, because he was talking about that, getting the shit beat out of him. So, yes, it is correct. So, 8-2 was Blue Balls of Destiny versus Rally Monkeys. Let's look at this matchup real quick because I got to see. Because I remember it being pretty close on the thing. Nope, it was not close. RBIs were close. Stolen bases, Josh won, but they were close. 234 to 294, 348, 379. Tied in wins, tied in strikeouts. Wow. ERA, not good, Mr. Josh. Whip, quality starts, 6-2 saves. Yeah, moving forward. Who was your big wig this week there, sir? You got a little contribution from Devers and Lindor. Morel, pickup. Who'd you get? Corey Seager, lighting up. Oh, look, Teoscar Hernandez doing things. And Kyle Schwarber. Fuck you, Chris. God dang it. Motherfucker. Moving forward, Brady Singer, Alcantara. Ugh. Bieber. Ugh. 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 All right, here we go. Continuing on. Another, what do you call underdog? So underdog, yeah, look at that. Scott beating Shane 6-4. Wasn't this victory like decided again on a Sunday? Ooh, not even close in the home runs, but one RBI made the difference. Man, looking back, Shane, I bet you're like, man, I'm glad I played that guy. Because if you didn't, woo, who would have been that guy maybe that you would have played? Nolan Arenado, you're not taking out of your lineup. Luke Voigt, he hit you a home run. So, yeah, got you 3 ribbies. Man, I'm glad I played that guy. You missed out on a few home runs from Mr. Walker, But would that have made a difference? Not really in the average or the OBP department. You tied in wins. Your ERA and WHIP were close, but when it came down to it, 6-4, Scott takes the dub. But he stays in 8th place. Trippin' Billy's is in 5th. We'll break down that too. The comeback kid, he's coming back. He faced off against Jason. Now he's still in 10th place, but he put up some numbers early on in the week, but kind of tapered off, but did have a nice week with old Paul Goldschmidt, Brandon Drury. Okay, let's get some stats on that guy. And William Contreras, not Willem, William, but he has both brother catchers on his team. But yeah, his first base, second base, catcher, they're the ones who carried that roster throughout the week. And then Pete Alonso got you 6 ribbies. Jose Ramirez got you some stolen bases, but he went day to day. Austin Hayes, nice little pickup there, but he batted 148. Ugh, you don't want to see that. And moving forward, here we go. Rayford Peaches said, "Hey, Eric, you want to make it a 3 spot? That's 3 weeks in a row we have seen Mr. Eric Croft fall. Oh, man. But he's still in second. The bitch loses and he raises in the ranks. We'll get to the reason why in a minute. 36 runs to 27, 9 home runs to 8. So close there, not close really in the RBI. Stolen bases, they tied in strikeouts. He had a little bit of the better pitching stats. Little birdie told me just earlier, and that birdie being Eric, he's like, fucking pitching pitched great. My bats just, let me down. Told me that right in the parking lot. Look at CJ Crone doing big things. Did he do all that in Colorado? Let's see. Yep, pretty much. San Diego came to town and he took him to the whooping shed. And that's really where he did most of his damage because he didn't do shit when Cleveland was there. Cleveland, come to town. Fun times in Cleveland today. Cleveland. Please don't ask me. All right, moving forward, the reason that Eric got to jump back into second spot, being teabagged by Rally Monkeys, is this 10-2 victory. Yes, sir. Big Bad Vlad. It tastes so good when you're on the other side of victory and not getting the shit beat out of you. And Sunday, them Astros wish they had electronic devices telling them when a fastball was coming. I say this because Jose Altuve is now on your team, but this has been one of my biggest things. I don't like trading players away to teams that I'm fixing to face, and I fucked up, and I did it. And he gave me Dansby Swanson. Can I give myself a hallelujah? It worked out for me. Woohoo! 5 runs, 2 home runs, 5 RBI, 2 stolen bases, and those 2 stolen bases from Dansby Swanson came on Sunday, and I'm doing this right here. And meanwhile, Jose Altuve only got 4 runs, and he batted 227. Now, if we're asking anybody that knows fantasy baseball or knows baseball at all, we're pretty sure Jose Altuve is going to be just fine and put up better stats than Dansby by the end of the year. But man alive, it feels so good. Ah. But we can't forget about 5 home runs that Mike Trout put up, right? We can't forget about that, right? 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 And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. tried to come back and say that I'm Big Bad Vlad, and that's the reason that you got this team name with his 3 home runs and 7 RBIs. But Mike Trout says, hold on there, little boy. You got to be in the big leagues a little bit longer before you can wear your big boy pants. That tasted like victory. 10-2. Yes, sir. And Josh Bell did nice little things too. 4 home runs. He got 3 home runs and a doubleheader. Ooh, wee. Feels so good. Now, the singing will undoubtedly turn into yells. Probably some tears are going to get shed. But the honeymoon is over. You know what I love and hate about this fantasy baseball ride that we're on is you start the week out and you're like, all right, this is looking pretty good. All right. All we gotta do is maintain. All right. It's like you're sitting here and you got a little groove going. You know what I'm talking about, guys. Yeah, you got a little groove going, everything's going good, feeling good. And wait a minute. What the fuck do the kids want? What the fuck do the kids want right now? I'm in a groove. I'm in a groove over here. What's going on Saturday? What's happening on Sunday? People aren't playing. What the fuck? What the fuck? All right, we still got it. All right. All right. All right. We came down the stretch and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh shit, we got a new week coming up. Fuck. I need to catch my breath. I gotta hold on a second. I just beat Big Bad Vlad. I'm on kind of a winning streak here. I just hold on a second. I don't want to face Rally fucking Monkeys, the number one team. I just got into this third spot. Man, I'm feeling pretty good. Fuck. Now I got to play Rally Monkeys. And my God, it's going to be like lights out because I'm sure he probably plays his pitching staff is probably facing off the AAA Gwinnett Stripes all this week. Shane Bieber steps up to the mound. It's the fifth inning, and by God, we've never seen him strike out every single motherfucking batter. And if you want to talk about history, an immaculate inning has been pitched every single inning. I can't believe what I just saw. This is amazing. Shane Bieber, my goodness. And up next, Sandy Alcantara pitching against this shitty ass team, and he too is getting immaculate innings. As a matter of fact, he didn't even pitch the ball, and the umpire threw out a player. My God, it's crazy. What's happening here? That would be Chris's fucking luck. But you ask yourself, all right, Casey, who's the matchup of the week? I know you're on pins and needles. Who is the matchup of the week? Well, if you were paying attention in the chat several days ago, I made a discovery and then I made a proclamation. All top 6 teams will face off against each other this very week. So this week is too big for one, son. This is Thunderdome. All 3 matchups involving the top 6 teams. Well, we are the matchups of the week. This will be a trifecta of bullshittery and fucks and shits and cocks flying in the chat. Rally Monkeys will face off against D's Nuts. Trippin' Billies will face off against Swing and Low. Can Swing and Low get back into victory? Or will Trippin' Billies be like, nah, son, let's go ahead and make it a 4 spot for you? And last but not least, Big Bad Vlad faces off against Red Sox Nation. Ooh, wee, what a time to be alive. Week 11. Let's go, boys. Let's go. There are trades that can be made. Nick is an imposter. I love it. That's right. Shots fired on the chat line on the YouTube channel. So if you're not there, you're missing me and Walker have a conversation. Well, I believe that is it for today. I hope that you have enjoyed this because I too have enjoyed it. Week 11 is here, and that is all that we need to know. So, without any more time taking practices and you guys needing to get to dinner on a Monday night, I bid you adieu. I hope you guys all had a great Father's Day, by the way. Did you? No? Yes? What'd you do? And Juneteenth? It's a holiday. Yes, the post office was closed today for that holiday in observance of it. I know some people are like, "What?" Yeah, see, relaxing. I kind of relaxed a little bit too. Went and did some things. A little stressed out at a running an errand, but whatever. All things are good. So, without any further ado and taking up any more of your time, I will end this stream and say have a good night, and we'll see you next week. Peace, bitches.